One time he locked me in containers.
There's ways that this is about to go. I think a lot of you guys are everybody is like, we're ready. We're ready until it's happening. And then everybody's like, well, I wasn't ready. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of that.
There's no other way to get ready. There's no other way to prepare. There's no protocol for what's about to happen. The world is going to crumble when they see this next arrest. In the meantime, there's going to be deaths, distractions, and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it. Ask questions. Demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs. You do. You know who should be arrested. You all do. You know that laptop from hell is real. You know that the black book is real. You know Ghislaine Maxwell's customers are who everybody is watching in the everyday news.
Hollywood is ablaze, literally. And Allie Carter is spilling secrets that'll make your jaw drop. She's claiming these fires aren't as random as they appear, but part of a calculated move by some seriously powerful people to hide shady dealings tied to the explosive Diddy and Jay-Z situation. Underground tunnels, trafficking rings, and high-stakes cover-ups are just the tip of the iceberg in Allie's shocking claims. Are A-listers running scared from something bigger? She says yes. Allie's been trying to warn us about this mess for a hot minute, but people called her crazy. Now, with her predictions eerily coming true, fans are starting to give her accusations a second look. And the tea she's serving about the burning evidence? It's enough to make anyone sit up and pay attention. Allie Carter isn't your typical Hollywood whistleblower. As a former foster kid turned industry critic, her journey has been intense. She's been exposing the dark secrets of the elite for years, from exploitation to alleged trafficking, but many dismissed her claims. Well, they're definitely not laughing anymore. Some A-listers are reportedly shaking in their designer boots right now. Allie's story is intense. Growing up in the foster care system, she experienced the worst it had to offer. She bounced from home to home, always feeling unsafe and unloved. But now, Allie is dropping bombshells, claiming to expose human trafficking operations, and she's not holding back. She's naming names, big, powerful names. Allie's allegations include secret underground tunnels hidden beneath Los Angeles. Tunnels she says are used for horrifying purposes, and the details she's sharing, absolutely chilling. In her own words, she said, "I was locked in containers with shipments of kids. There were babies as young as 6 months old, and I'll never forget their cries. Nobody knew what to do or where to go." It's the kind of statement that makes you stop in your tracks.
One time he locked me in containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move. I was freaked out. And I got up and I held her. And they opened the truck and they took her from me. Because they said she was already sick. And they killed her. Her name was Bailey. There are kids in there from Africa, from Mexico. We got to this spot right over the border. They went past these colorful houses. They turned down these dirt roads, and there was a bunch of trucks. And they divvied everybody out like fucking retail. One person, she wouldn't stop crying, so they said that they would just send her off to somebody who was already sick, that had AIDS, that was gonna die soon, because she wouldn't shut up.
At first, people dismissed her claims, saying she was making it all up. But now, Allie insists she has proof, documents, photographs, and more. She's been hinting at releasing this evidence, and it has Hollywood's elite on edge. Why are people starting to believe her now? because some of her most shocking predictions are starting to come true. Remember those massive fires that swept through Los Angeles? Allie warned about them, saying they were part of an effort to destroy critical evidence. And then, half of LA was suddenly engulfed in flames. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's enough to make anyone suspicious. Allie's boldness isn't stopping there. She's even called out some of the biggest names in the industry, including Diddy, and it's making waves. With the recent LA fires reigniting interest in her claims, people are finally starting to listen. A few months back, Allie Carter made a chilling prediction about an LA fire, claiming that certain powerful figures were planning to cover their tracks with a massive blaze. And now, it seems like she might have been onto something. LA has been hit by some of the most destructive fires in years, leaving the city in chaos. Celebrities are losing their multi-million-dollar mansions. Over 130,000 people have been forced to evacuate, and more than 2,000 buildings have been reduced to ashes. It's like nature is throwing a tantrum, but Allie doesn't think it's random. She's convinced it's all part of a calculated plan to destroy evidence, and she's spilling some jaw-dropping details. According to Allie, the fires aren't just tearing through neighborhoods by chance. They're targeting specific places, mansions, hospitals, amusement parks, all of which she claims are tied to the sinister activities she's been exposing.
There are underground tunnels that are under the schools, elementary, junior, and high schools all over the place. They exist everywhere. They lead to amusement parks, they lead to hospitals, cemeteries, schools, celebrity homes, psychic shops. They lead everywhere. Yes, there's every means of transportation. There's every walk of life. There's cities. There's different air supply.
But it doesn't stop there. Allie says these locations are crucial to covering up shady operations involving some of Hollywood's biggest names. And here's where things get really eerie. Allie's been warning about this for months. Back in October, she posted a video online where she flat out predicted massive fires and explosions. She said they would be orchestrated to bury the evidence of the dark secrets she's been speaking out about. Now that these fires are actually happening, people are starting to connect the dots, and they're freaking out. What's even more unsettling is that Allie's claims aren't limited to vague predictions. But hold on, it gets even wilder. Allie Carter is now bringing up underground tunnels, secret passageways she claims stretch beneath LA like a hidden spiderweb. According to her, these tunnels connect celebrity mansions, the Getty Museum, and other elite hangouts. Imagine dog-twisting corridors completely hidden from public view, where deals and decisions are allegedly made far away from prying eyes. Crazy, right? But Allie's not backing down. She insists these hidden pathways are central to the secrets Hollywood doesn't want exposed. And it doesn't stop there. Allie is alleging that the fires sweeping through LA are a desperate attempt by powerful people to destroy evidence tied to these tunnels and other shady dealings. She's saying these elite players are panicking, running scared, and using fire as their ultimate cover-up tool. It's like a high-stakes game of hide and seek, only instead of hiding, they're torching everything in sight.
A lot's about to come out. Another arrest is coming again. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire. It wasn't an accident.
Meanwhile, over 7,500 firefighters are risking their lives battling the infernos while the city chokes on hazardous air quality. The streets are filled with smoke, homes have turned to ash, and LA now feels like a massive barbecue gone horribly wrong. And just as all this chaos unfolded, Allie claims she was sitting on explosive proof that she was about to release, evidence that could expose everything she's been talking about. Talk about timing. It's almost like the fires were a last-ditch effort to stop her from revealing what she knows. Coincidence? Or something more calculated? The timing has everyone raising an eyebrow. Whether or not you believe Allie's allegations, one thing's clear. Hollywood is officially on edge. This is on another level, stuff that could completely flip how we see some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Allie's been doing her homework for years, and she says she's got the receipts to back it all up. We're talking stacks of confidential documents, secret photographs, and even jaw-dropping video footage that's allegedly tied to something far darker than anyone imagined. But buckle up, because according to Allie, all this evidence points directly to a massive trafficking network operating right in the heart of Hollywood. And no, she's not talking about shady backroom deals. Allie is straight up claiming that some of those glamorous celebrity mansions, the ones we all dream of, are actually hiding rooms where disturbing activities allegedly take place. Can you imagine? Those million-dollar homes with perfect views and picture-perfect facades might be concealing some horrifying secrets. But it doesn't stop there. Allie's dropping names, and not just any names. These are the stars we see on our screens every single day. Picture this, you're binge watching your favorite series, and suddenly the thought creeps in. What if that charming actor or stunning actress is involved in something this dark? It's enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Now, let's get into the underground tunnels. Allie claims she's witnessed children being moved through these secret passageways with her own eyes. In one of her most explosive videos, she described these tunnels in haunting detail. There are underground tunnels beneath schools, she said. They're everywhere. They connect to amusement parks, hospitals, cemeteries, and even celebrity homes. According to Allie, this isn't just a theory, it's like an entire hidden city beneath Los Angeles, a sprawling network used for the darkest of purposes. The thought alone is enough to shake even the most skeptical observer. But it doesn't end there. Allie's claims are hitting institutions you'd never expect. She's pointing fingers not just at celebrities, but at hospitals, law enforcement, and even judges. According to her, the entire system is riddled with corruption, and she insists she's got the financial records to prove it. Imagine that. Evidence that could potentially take down some of the biggest names in Hollywood. And here's the twist. Some of these so-called receipts were allegedly set to surface in court, but then, out of nowhere, the fires erupted. Allie is convinced this isn't some random disaster. She claims these fires are a deliberate attempt to erase the proof that could expose the powerful and bring their entire house of cards crashing down. Coincidence? Allie certainly doesn't think so. And let's be real, it's making a lot of people wonder. Now hold on, because what Allie's diving into next is even more unsettling. Did you know that over 18,500 children were flagged as potential victims of trafficking in 2016 alone? That's straight from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and it's a number that's hard to wrap your head around. But here's where Allie takes it to the next level. She's no longer just calling out Hollywood's elite. She's setting her sights on the very system meant to protect vulnerable kids. Yes, you heard that right. She's accusing Child Protective Services of being part of the problem. As someone who's lived through the foster care system herself, Allie's seen more than her fair share of heartbreak and neglect. But according to her, what's happening goes way beyond the usual failures of the system. She's talking about something far more sinister, something that could expose how deep the cracks in this system really go. We're looking at a system that's not just failing kids, it's actively feeding them to the wolves. And here's the real gut punch. Allie is claiming that children are disappearing from the system altogether. One day they're accounted for, and the next, they're gone, vanished without a trace. The most horrifying part? It seems like nobody is even looking for them, as though they were just names on a ledger, not actual children with futures and dreams. But Allie's allegations don't stop there. She's pointing fingers at some CPS workers, claiming they're part of this twisted operation. We're talking about bribery, falsified reports, and deliberate neglect. Everything you'd expect in a crime ring, not in a system designed to protect kids. The very people who are supposed to be their guardians of last resort are, according to Allie, cashing in on their misery. And that's not just heartbreaking, it's enraging. Yet Allie insists this isn't just a case of a few bad apples. She says the whole system is built to exploit these children, a pipeline designed to keep vulnerable kids stuck in a never-ending cycle of mistreatment and abuse. And the higher-ups, they're not just complicit, they're allegedly ensuring this pipeline stays full. It's a sinister machine, and the gears are well-oiled. Allie's accusations don't end with vague statements either. She's naming names. From judges to social workers, and even politicians, no one is safe from her claims. These aren't random nobodies. These are people in positions of trust and authority, people who hold the power to change lives. Yet, according to Allie, they're using that power to enrich themselves while perpetuating this horrific system. Remember those fires Allie warned us about? The ones she said were part of a bigger cover-up? Well, according to Allie, some of the evidence lost in those flames wasn't just celebrity secrets, it included CPS records. Yes, we're talking about documents that could have exposed a massive systemic failure or even outright corruption. Instead, they've been reduced to ashes, leaving us with more questions than answers. Experts are weighing in on Allie's claims, and the responses are as divided as they are intense. Some child welfare advocates admit that the system has enough flaws to allow abuse and neglect to slip through the cracks, which makes Allie's allegations seem disturbingly plausible. Others, however, argue that her accusations are too far-fetched to be taken seriously. But regardless of where you stand, one thing is clear. Allie has sparked a heated debate about how we protect our most vulnerable children. For years, Allie was practically screaming into the void, desperately trying to expose what she called Hollywood's darkest secrets. Nobody seemed to care. It was as if the world had plugged its ears and turned away. But now, the tide has shifted, and suddenly, Allie's words are echoing across the internet. People aren't just listening, they're hooked, hanging on her every revelation like it's the next chapter in a thriller. Here's the twist. Allie hasn't changed her story one bit. She's been saying the same things for years, long before anyone was ready to believe her. That consistency is what's grabbing attention now. It's making skeptics take a second look, and believers dig in even deeper. And the most surprising part? Allie isn't standing alone anymore. A wave of other survivors and whistleblowers is stepping forward, sharing their own harrowing experiences. Their stories, combined with Allie's, are creating a picture so chilling it's hard to ignore. Those LA fires have people asking some burning questions. Suddenly, Allie Carter's tales about underground tunnels and secret rooms aren't sounding so far-fetched anymore. It's like the smoke is clearing, but instead of finding answers, we're just uncovering more mysteries. And here's the kicker. Allie's got a growing army of supporters, but these aren't your average fans. No celebrity stands here. These are regular folks turning into amateur sleuths, piecing together clues and spreading Allie's revelations like a wildfire that won't be contained. But Allie isn't letting up, not even with all this chaos around her. In one of her latest videos, she confidently said, "I've been screaming about this for years, so if you see me tying up loose ends and trying to live my life, just mind your business. Or don't." That bold attitude has sparked even more support. Her comment section is blowing up with people praising her bravery and relentless determination. It's like a light bulb went off for everyone, and now they're finally seeing the bigger picture. However, speaking up has come at a cost. Allie isn't just uncovering secrets, she's risking everything to do it. She's been dealing with some terrifying threats, from death threats to mysterious cars tailing her every move. Someone even tried hacking her accounts to get to her evidence. But Allie's not one to go down without a fight. She's got a secret weapon, a dead man's switch. If something happens to her, all the evidence she's been sitting on will be unleashed for the world to see. And she's not stopping there. Allie's also stashed copies of her evidence with a few trusted friends, calling it her insurance policy. It's a calculated move, one that shows she's ready for anything. But Allie's concerns aren't just for herself. She's deeply worried about other survivors stepping forward. The pressure's intense, the stakes are high, and the risks are very real. It's not just Allie's story anymore, it's about every person who's endured similar horrors. Despite the danger and the mounting threats, Allie's standing her ground. She says exposing the truth is worth any risk, no matter how high the cost. It's almost like she's on a mission, armed with evidence and courage, determined to blow the lid off Hollywood's darkest secrets. Nothing's gonna stop her from exposing the truth about what's really going on behind the glittering facade of celebland. But let's be real, Allie's walking a dangerous line. This isn't just about likes, shares, or gaining followers. It's life or death at this point. The more she reveals, the more people start paying attention. And here's the kicker. Her claims are starting to connect with real-world events. Fires, missing records, questionable celebrity behavior. It's all adding up. It feels like the whole world is finally starting to wake up to the magnitude of what she's been saying all along. Still, you gotta wonder, how far is too far? Allie's not just challenging powerful individuals, she's taking on an entire system. And that system isn't happy about it. We're not just talking about a few angry tweets of viral backlash. This is serious. Death threats, surveillance, hacked accounts. Imagine living a life where you're always looking over your shoulder. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Allie's pushing to shake the system to its very core, daring it to crumble under the weight of its own secrets. She's drawing comparisons to other whistleblowers who faced extreme backlash for exposing hidden truths. Allie's relentless, demanding investigations, not just into the celebrity she's named, but into the entire industry. She's calling for accountability at every level, from the highest paid stars to the most hidden corners of the system. And her supporters? They're louder than ever. Protests, petitions, and viral campaigns. They're determined to amplify her voice. Experts are even saying Allie's revelations could spark a major shakeup in Hollywood. We're talking about a complete overhaul of how the industry operates. But let's be honest, this isn't a quick fix. Decades of secrets, cover-ups, and shady deals won't disappear overnight. It'll take relentless effort to untangle this web. What do you guys think about Allie Carter's bold revelations? Is this the beginning of a Hollywood revolution, or just another scandal in a sea of controversy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Check out the next video on your screen for even more juicy revelations.